for you tonight.
It is so beautiful to see you.
I want you to want me.
Hey out there, live music fans. Welcome to episode number 28 of First Concert Memories, the monthly sidecast from your buddies at the Ugly American Werewolf in London rock podcast, where we celebrate live music and the experience of being in a crowd and hearing the live rock and roll and getting the energy from the band, which gives it back to you, which goes back to the band. It's an experience unlike any other, and we try to capture those fond memories and share the stories here on First Concert Memories. And this month, we're going to do things just a little bit differently. Usually, we're talking about a particular night in someone's life and how that night maybe changed their lives or made them huge rock and roll fans, got them going to live concerts for the rest of their life. Now, this month, we're actually promoting a live show based on live shows from 50 years ago. Let me explain. Stu Allen is a guitar player and singer out in Northern California. He's played in Mars Hotel, played with Phil Lesh, been part of the Dark Straw Orchestra. Very talented guy who's played a lot of traditional jam band kind of stuff in his history. 50 years ago, as we're releasing this show, Bob Dylan took a group of performers, and some he just kind of picked up along the way. Some had played together a lot. Some of them were just meeting each other for the first time, and did something called Rolling Thunder Revue. And he had Allen Ginsberg, poet laureate, out there doing some poetry. Joan Baez came along. Mick Ronson, famed guitar player of Bowie, was on the tour. Joni Mitchell tagged along. Sam Shepard, a lot of folks, including a young violinist named Scarlet Rivera, who he met in the village as she was crossing the street and he was driving towards the studio. They got to chatting. He convinced her to come with him and play on some tunes. And then they started the Rolling Thunder Revue, which in the winter of 75 was kind of in New England there. I think there was dates in Massachusetts and New York, maybe even one in Canada. And it sparked a lot of creativity from everybody in it. A lot of different people on that. It's kind of a traveling circus of Bob Dylan and his minions. And they didn't just play Madison Square Garden or the big arenas. They're playing small theaters and town halls. Played a mahjong parlor, played a Native American reservation, and they did it again in the spring of 76. In between there, he released Desire, which contained the protest song Hurricane about Reuben Hurricane Carter, made famous by the Denzel Washington movie Hurricane. Well, Stu was a big fan of Bob Dylan's. He picked up the album Hard Rains from the Rolling Thunder Revue tour, and the fact of the matter was the arrangements and the way that those songs were performed were very different than the traditional arrangements or the way you were used to hearing those songs. So as the 50th anniversary of Rolling Thunder Revue comes up, he and a lot of his buddies are going to play at the Junk in Northern California on November 4th and do most of the set that you might hear from that tour, that you might be familiar with from Bootleg Series Volume 5, and Scarlet Rivera is going to join them to play her haunting violin on many of those songs. Stu asked me if I wanted to speak to him and Scarlet about the show and do a little promotion. I jumped at it. I couldn't wait. If you saw the movie that Martin Scorsese did in 2019 about the Rolling Thunder Revue, you know who Scarlet Rivera is. She's striking on stage. You couldn't take your eyes off of her. While most people are watching Bob, I'm watching her. And that violin just added something that I'd never really heard before. Of course, the song Hurricane was big for me because it was in the movie Dazed and Confused while we were in college. And then I got to know the story. Then, of course, the movie eventually came out. But ever since I'd heard that song, I wanted to know the violinist behind it. And that's Scarlet Rivera. And she and Stu Allen are going to join us here shortly to talk about not only her experiences on that tour, but what they're looking forward to in reliving some of that at the Junk on November 4th. But first, we do have a little bit of business to take care of. We always like to mention that we are proud members of the Pantheon Podcast Network, based in San Francisco, a family of over 100 different shows. You can learn more at pantheonpodcast.com or follow on socials at Pantheon Pods. And you know we got to give a shout out to our worldwide intergalactic sponsor, rarevinyl.com, who may be based in the UK, folks, but they procure records from all over the world and they ship all over the world. And I guarantee you they have a lot of cool Bob Dylan and jam band stuff in there. And the great thing is they gave us a code, UGLY, that if you use that at checkout, you can save 10% off one entire order. Not just one item, but everything in your bin. So if you want to go find several of the Bob Dylan bootleg series, do that. If you want to get the box set, which I think is about 14 discs from the Rolling Thunder Revue, which came out around the same time as the movie did in 2019, get that. Get it all. Use the code UGLY and save 10%. So go to rarevinyl.com, use the code UGLY, save 10%. Your record collection will thank you. Now back to Stu and Scarlet. These are seasoned professionals who've played a lot of shows over the decades. It's the first time they're going to play together and really celebrate this tour, which was a rare thing. Dylan hadn't been on the road for a long time. He came back and did a tour with the band, and then he decided to put together his own tour and just grab the folks that he liked, grab folks who were interesting to him, grab folks that were going to help make a fun sound. And that's what the Rolling Thunder Revue was all about. So let's hear more from Stu Allen and Scarlet Rivera as we learn about their show coming up November 4th at the Junk in NoCal, celebrating Rolling Thunder Revue at 50. So was this your idea to kind of put together this 50th thing on the Rolling Thunder Revue?
Yes, I've been a Dylan fan for as long as I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when it was, maybe in the aughts or just after that. It must have been in the aughts. I heard this album, Hard Rain, which is of a concert in Fort Collins at the end of the Rolling Thunder tour.
All right.
And it just knocked me out. All these different versions of these songs. Playing is great. Dylan is singing great. And the arrangements just really accentuate these vocals just in this over-the-top way.
Were you familiar with the tour when you heard this record, or did you come to kind of the whole thing at the same time?
I kind of had an awareness of it, but not much.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember back, MTV had some kind of show where they showed really old stuff. I forget what it's called. It's a specific thing, like we're going to show really old stuff, like a few things. And Hendrix came on and I hit record. And so I watched this Hendrix video a bunch of times. And after it was Dylan in the whiteface singing Tangled Up in Blue. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah. It's kind of disconcerting the first time you see that. You're like, what? Yeah. What is he doing with this?
Right. I was like, well, this is interesting.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my first touch with this whole thing.
And I'm familiar with Bob Dylan. I'm not going to tell you that I'm a huge fan of his, not that I know the whole catalog, but I guess I kind of forgot. And then I saw the Martin Scorsese movie. He was gone for a long time. Like, I think 1966, he stopped touring.
Motorcycle accident.
Yeah, he came back with the band, and then this was like his first big tour by himself, or headlining, I guess.
Bob Dylan.
So, I mean, it was a big deal.
Hi, this is Jim McCarthy of the Yardbirds, and you're listening to the Ugly American Werewolf in London.
Scarlet Rivera, thanks for coming. We are really excited to speak with you today.
Hi, Matt. Hi, everybody.
So, we're just catching up with Stu a little bit here. Stu and I kind of go way back. I mean, like, we went to school together in the 80s, way back. Yeah. But when Stu told me about this special event that you guys are doing, I said absolutely, because I've always wanted to meet you. I've been wanting to catch up with Stu for a while, but ever since I heard the song Hurricane, and I said, who is playing lead violin on this? Like, it's lead guitar. This is amazing. This takes a pretty good song and makes it an extraordinary song. And then, of course, Martin Scorsese makes the movie, 5 or so, 6 years ago, and, well, you jump off the screen. and so I appreciate you taking a little time to talk with us here. The story of you meeting Bob is pretty epic. It's pretty legendary, and you tell it like, if I decided to cross the street 2 minutes later, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, true.
But it's a day in Greenwich Village, right?
That is true. You know what? But I have thought about it. If it didn't happen that day, it would have happened 2 days later or the week later, because it was going to happen.
It's meant to be. No doubt about it. Yeah. So he just kind of whisks you up, say, hey, come play with us, right?
Well, it wasn't that fast, but,
okay.
But he insisted they hear me play, and he insisted that I keep talking to him. And he insisted that I get in the car and go to a nearby studio and then while he was talking, I was evaluating whether it was a fake Bob Dylan or a real. There's a lot of guys in the Greenwich Village at the time wore black leather jackets and curly hair wanting to look like Bob Dylan.
Yep. No doubt.
Yeah, that definitely came across in the movie. There were a lot of guys who came across in the movie. There were a lot of guys who patterned their look after him and wanted to be as close as possible to him.
Yeah, but as I talked to him, this great feeling came over me, and a voice said, "This is Bob Dylan.
This is the guy."
This is the time for you to jump in that car, and something extraordinary is about to happen to your life."
Boy, and it did too. I mean, I don't know if I should say entourage, the crowd, the hangers-on, the people around Dylan, it just seemed thick. And some of them he wanted, some of them he didn't. But he wanted to be around. And I think he said in the movie, some guys were afraid to talk to Scarlet because you had this boyfriend in this other band somewhere. He's like, but I wasn't afraid. I wanted to hang out with her as much as I could because you had this different perspective on things. And the way you played with his music was like something I've never heard before or since, to be honest with you.
I was very antisocial, and I really wasn't trying to even be friendly, even with band members.
Mm-hmm.
I recall the opening act, asking me to sit in and play, and I went, "No."
Thanks, guys. No.
No.
Well, and you're tall, you're beautiful, you carry swords with you. You got to be a little intimidating.
Evidently. I'm more friendly today than I was then, I must say. But that actually put me in great favor with Bob because he was very much the lone wolf, and I was a lone wolf, and he really liked that, that I wasn't, hanging on people and bragging about it, who I was or where I go. I didn't say anything about who I was or where I came from. So I was a bit of a mystery to everyone.
It seemed like when you were in the concert footage, when you were playing, he kind of really focused in, Bob, on what you were doing, where everybody else, like they were just kind of playing around him. But when you stepped in there, it was really like, okay, I'm going to let you go and kind of mold what I'm doing around your violin playing.
Well, I was definitely his right-hand man, so to speak.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
And he did not put me back with the tambourines. I was up front and literally on his stage right. And, he wanted to have me to get recognition. He really was very happy about, and he's not, normally very generous about even saying, giving band names of during shows.
That was the thing. Mac pointed out, Mick Ronson was there. And I was like, he was? And then I looked, I'm like, oh yeah, there he is. And then I guess somebody said, oh, hey, Mick, how do you like Bob? He's like, I don't know. I've never talked to him. He doesn't talk to me. So even somebody like that. He's like, yeah, play. But you were definitely in a different class.
And part of it was that he discovered me too. I mean, I was, I wasn't, recommended by, somebody else in the band or some, other person. It was kind of fate found me, and he knew that I was connected to that fateful situation.
No doubt. Yeah. And you made some real history together.
Yeah.
This was kind of my first time I heard you right here, but I was just talking to Stu about it. This came out, which accompanied the film. This had some really remarkable moments on here, Scarlet. So I guess I wanted to know, going back those decades, what was it like on stage? I mean, you're in smaller venues. You're not playing, I know you eventually play like Madison Square Garden, but for the most part, you're playing 2,000 and 3,000 seaters, not to mention a mahjong parlor and a basketball court on a Native American reservation and things like that. What was it like to be on stage? Was it just the energy of the crowd just wanting more? Was the band in tune? What was it like?
It was absolutely electric everywhere we went. It was closer to the roar of 1,000 lions. Like, wow. It was just the roar of, this is the time that people wanted every single note and every word.
Well, that's right. They've missed Bob. Jackson was saying before you jumped on, he, hadn't toured the U.S. in a really long time until he did the band. Did that end up on Before the Flood? Was that the record that captured the band tour there? Stu, do you know?
I'm not sure.
I think it is. I mean,
it's the answer right now.
Yeah, it's one that I got into when I was getting to Dylan. It's like this, when he went back out with the band in the 70s, that's really good. Then he's saying, okay, now I'm motivated again. I want to do something again. And he started kind of collect all these different talents, and you were obviously one of the key parts. But it sounded like you kept picking up people along the way, like a Joni Mitchell or a Roger McGuinn or some, lots of other hangers on. I mean, what was it like off stage? What was it like backstage or tour, driving to the next gig?
Driving to the to the next gig, let's say, even though I was antisocial, I liked sitting next to Joni Mitchell.
Oh, yeah? Why is that?
Yeah. Because she was absolutely a star already. She was like an incredible. I did not have confidence off stage. I had super confidence on stage. On stage, I didn't even know who I was at all yet. I mean, I was, just a kind of a wounded, wolf. But Joni was very kind and very generous and kind of easy to talk to me. And so I think she was trying to give me some encouragement off stage. And, later I became friends with her and still am to this day now. And off stage, probably the one person I really like talking to off stage, since I didn't talk to the band much, is Howie Wyeth, the drummer.
The drummer, yeah.
Yeah, Howie Wyeth. I mean, he's so understated and he didn't talk much either. Not to mention that his uncle was Andrew Wyeth, the famous painter.
Oh, okay.
And you would never hear Howie Wyeth go, well, where I came from, blah, blah, blah. Like, never. And also he played stride piano in clubs. He played stride piano as good as he played drums.
Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Wow. Well, some people are just talented, I suppose. Like my buddy Stu here. Now, Stu, we were talking a little bit about how did you like Dylan and how you first kind of heard about this Rolling Thunder review. How did you come to get to know Scarlet and try to put together this show that you're doing at the Junk here?
Well, I have a band up here in the Bay that does all Dylan material. And drummer of that band is Greg Anton from Zero.
Ah.
And he did a session with Scarlet at some point.
Over the last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's all I know. I don't know how. And he mentioned to me that Scarlet might be interested in doing this gig. And to my delight, she actually is. Super excited.
Yeah, I can imagine so. That's how you feel about maybe going out and obviously playing the tunes might be great. Are you worried that any weird memories will come up, or is it only good memories from back in the day?
Oh, it's only good memories now,
Yeah.
I mean, I had great memories of my time on stage and off with Bob Dylan, and Joni, a few other people. The thing as it rolled along, it was an incredible thing. And I also, later became more friendly with Mick Ronson, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I did.
And then what about, I guess he was a performer, Allen Ginsberg, poet laureate.
Oh, yes. Actually, you're right. I was friendly with Allen Ginsberg, too. And after the first Rolling Thunder, I got pneumonia. Because we were touring Northern in the winter.
Yeah.
And I ended up having pneumonia at the end of that tour. And I ended up recuperating in Allen Ginsberg cabin in Northern California.
Is that right? Wow.
Well, I mean, sorry. I think it was upstate New York or something. I don't remember.
There were a lot of trees around.
Yeah.
There were a lot of trees. I know it was Allen Ginsberg. And because I was friendly with him and his guy friend and girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. That's all right. That's cool. Yeah. Well, now, did you do part 2? Wasn't there a second tour?
Yeah, there was part 2
Yeah. Was that different? Was that better? Was it worse?
It was definitely different.
Okay. How so?
Stadiums, right?
Atmosphere changed a lot. It's hard to put it in words why and how, but a lot of the atmosphere of the sparkle of the first seemed to, not be as sparkly. I don't know why. I mean, there's a lot of personalities on that stage.
Right.
It's hard to describe how a stew changes flavor by adding one thing, and it's like, oh, that's not what it should taste like now.
Mm-hmm.
It was still powerful and great, but atmosphere was somewhat different.
Gotcha. Well, it seemed to spark some creativity from everybody. I mean,
oh, it did, and all the way to the end. Our last show was the Hard Rain concert, and it ended up being the Hard Rain album
that Stu was talking about earlier. Yes, Stu?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we played in the rain. I mean, it was freaking rainy.
But I mean, between legs, like Dylan does Desire. In 77, you get your first major label release. Joni's on tour and just writes Coyote based on her experiences being with you guys. It's like,
yes, she did.
Putting these creative folks together creates opportunities for this spark to become something. Yeah.
Inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And especially too, it seemed like there were really no rules. It was just kind of like, hey, do you guys want to get together? Do you want to do this? You were mentioning Joni Mitchell. He asked her to come on board, and it was like, do whatever you want to do. Like, I don't care. Just so it seemed like it was really free. And then there was a clip of Joan Baez who said she could do stuff there that she couldn't do in her own show. Just be freer. So it just kind of seemed like a very creative tour
and free.
I think I had a line from the movie that said something like, he's Mr. Tambourine Man, and he lets us be anything we want to be.
Yeah.
That's right. And you would every night. I mean, look, we're talking about how Bob would put on some kabuki makeup most of those nights or whatever, but you would have did you do it yourself? Would you paint your face each night a little differently?
Different every time.
Every time.
Not every night did I do makeup, but most of the time, especially that's another thing. I only did the paint on first leg, never on the second, none at all.
Interesting.
So that's a big change emotionally that you could see that I changed in that way. But I am the one that started the face paints because I did it on the very first show on the very first day, and nobody else did. So the paints originated by me.
Well, it definitely
not too many people get.
No, it definitely added something to the visual performance. And is that to protect yourself out there? Is that to give you a little bit of armor?
It was just an inner witchy thing, that I had a muse that I listened to, and the muse said, put a butterfly today, put a sword and a snake and here. I mean, I was very in tune. Because I wasn't very social, I was listening to other inner voices.
Gotcha. Yeah. And you're striking on stage with this face paint on, playing this haunting fiddle, if you will. And I can't take my eyes off you while I'm watching the movie. Now, you and everybody in that audience were kind of staring at Bob, but I'm staring at you staring at Bob. Because you're striking and you are focused on, what's he doing now? Let me make sure I'm fitting in. At least that's what it came off as.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We were definitely in sync in playing 100%. And he is notorious for also, you either follow him or you don't. And he doesn't want to coach you. He expects you to follow, period. And if he makes a drastic change on the spot, you got to follow it.
You better be paying attention.
Yeah, you better be paying attention.
Did the arrangements of the songs evolve through the tour?
They did. Well, one in particular, you can hear the changes. ISIS.
Oh.
ISIS was very slow on the record. It became like a galloping horse on stage.
Romance in Durango is very different from
Romance on Durango got very different too.
And it came through too with, hey, don't come into this show with any kind of expectations. We're going to do what we want to do and sit back and relax. But if you come in here like, oh, I need you to play this or play this other song this certain way, you were going to be disappointed. And I think he even said something about that. Like, if you come in with big expectations, you're going to have a great disappointment.
And did the changes happen in performance, or was it at sound check?
Well, sound check, we didn't really run through songs a lot. So I think those changes it probably originated with maybe with Rob Stoner and the core band. Maybe they knew what they were going to do differently.
Right.
He's the bass player, right? Rob Stoner?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And Dylan just seems like someone who is always searching for something else. Once he's done something, it bores him kind of instantly. So, and so he's got to go find, I'm not going to do Tangled Up in Blue the way it was on the record back in the day. If I'm going to do it, I've got to do it differently. And like you said, ISIS evolved and some of the songs evolved, and some of the way he played the songs at the Mahjong parlor, I thought were fantastic. It's a very different experience than in the concert hall, but I think that's what he wanted. He wanted that dangerous, it's live, it's not the same, we're human beings, and I'm going to take it this direction, let's see what everybody else does.
He is like a master of his own evolution, and he's relentlessly evolving, and he's brought us all with him. You could look at it that way.
I was going to say that there's a scene in the movie with the chauffeur, your chauffeur driver, and they were asking him about, oh, have you been to a show like this before? And he's like, no, not really. I went the other night. But he made the observation that the audience to the performer is like a battery charging a battery. Like they both need each other. I'm like, well, that's heavy duty for one show. Wow, good for you. But yeah, that's what it seemed like.
It was, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, so did it change when you played something like an MSG, since most of the shows were in smaller venues, and all of a sudden you play the big one? Is all of a sudden the energy very different, or what's up there?
It just seemed different for being Madison Square Garden had a different excitement to it because we knew Muhammad Ali was going to be there. I mean, it was more, perhaps, I think Coretta King was there.
Wow.
And I know Bruce Springsteen was in the audience. I mean, it was.
The hurricane benefit? Yeah.
It was a star-studded thing that, which I didn't think about those people being there as why it was more at stake. But I think maybe that's why it seemed more electric even than the other ones for that moment, because more was at stake.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, let's talk about Reuben Hurricane Carter for a minute. Stu and Jackson and I, we graduated in 1991, so we didn't live through when it first came out so much. It's in a movie called Dazed and Confused, which was one that we really liked. It was kind of like for the generation ahead of us, but it spoke to us because it had the music we liked, and they were doing stuff that we kind of liked to do in high school. I thought it was an amazing scene that it was in. It was kind of the beginning of Matthew McConaughey's career, but then after I heard the song, I'm like, this is an amazing song. I have to go get the album. And then I learned the story of it. And this is, I think, before Denzel made the movie The Hurricane. Did you go with Bob to the penitentiary to see him?
We did.
Yeah. Did you play there?
We did.
Yeah, that's right. It's another odd stop. The penitentiary is usually not at the top of the list of a tour.
Yeah, we did. We got into maximum security prison and played.
Now, that must have been a trip for different reasons.
Yeah, too bad we couldn't have had a bus to take people out.
Pull them out of there, yeah. What was Reuben like?
Well, I didn't get a chance to talk much to him. I did shake his hand, and he knew I was a big part of the song. So it's just a nice moment of connection, just by looking into each other's eyes and saying thank you and thanks for being here. That's it.
That's it. Did you ever see him once he got released?
No, I never did.
You here on November 4th at the Junk. Both of you, I'll let you both answer this question. What are you most looking forward to out of the night?
Let Stu answer first.
Out of all of it, just playing all these songs, but more excited about the ones I haven't gotten to yet. That I've done a lot of these Rolling Thunder versions, arrangements for a while now, but I've just been really enjoying getting into the rest of them. There's just some really fantastic arrangements, and they're really getting me excited. Really enjoying just listening to them even, but learning them also.
This is another great one, by the way.
Yes,
I'm a big fan of right here. Yeah,
we'll be doing most of those tunes.
That's Bob Dylan Live 75 Bootleg Volume 5, is it? I think it is. Bootleg Series Volume 5. Had this in my collection a long time. As soon as I knew that there were Rolling Thunder Revue shows available, I just I had to go get them. How about for you, Scarlet? I
look forward to reconnecting with Northern California and the people in Northern California, because I haven't really spent much time up there, and I would like to see the response to me being there and playing and actually reviving these songs with this band.
I love the people of Northern California. It's one of my favorite places in the world. San Francisco, and north into wine country, sure, that's nice, but people let you be who you want to be there. Tell you a fun story. I used to be an investment banker, if you can believe it, looking at me now. I had to go out there to do a meeting, and I like being on the hate. I like going to see the weirdos and going to the different stores and the Amoeba Records and all that, but I still had I took off my tie, but I still kind of had my button-down shirt on and my suit pants and all that. And you know how it is when you walk in the hate. People say, you want some psychedelics? You want some pot? Anything? You want some LSD? But no one was walking up to me wearing this stuff because I looked too straight, So I went into a store. I bought a big Grateful Dead tie-dye t-shirt with the big head on it and everything. Went back to the car, ditched the shirt, the button down, put on the shirt, walked about 3 blocks, and hey man, you want some psychedelics? I'm like, no, but thank you for asking, man. I feel so much better being here now. I feel included again.
Probably thought you were a cop.
Well, I doubt they would think that now.
Well, Greg Anton, our drummer, is an attorney.
That's right.
Attorney by day, drummer at night.
That's correct.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, you can do both.
Yeah. Well, so is it true that you took Dylan to see a Kiss show at like a club?
Never.
I thought that was made up. I knew it.
That was never would I do that. I mean, I was incredibly embarrassed when that movie came out, and I realized that, so obviously it came out that I even dated Gene Simmons at the time, which I didn't know he was in that band.
Oh, no?
We met without makeup. We met in the Village.
Mm-hmm.
He was a tall, handsome, interesting, he's very smart, and we had nice, he's actually a really interesting person.
Confident, yeah, absolutely.
He knew I was a musician, but I didn't tell him who I was playing for, and he didn't tell me he was in that band. And
Gotcha.
then once later on, only was a very short period, like 2 months that I saw him. Then he invited me to this show, and then I went, no. No. Oh, no.
So you had no idea. You just walked in there like, oh, okay, cool. And then the show starts and you said, I don't think this is what I expected.
Oh, no. I mean, I hope to God Bob Dylan doesn't find out about this.
Although it was interesting, he did say something. He mentioned something about the Kiss connection, and I would have thought Dylan would have said, oh, Kiss, but he seemed like he was really intrigued about the makeup and putting on makeup and maybe becoming somebody a little bit different on stage and having that freedom that the makeup afforded you.
Well, he got that lesson through me but I did not take a smidgen of my makeup from that thing.
Yeah, well, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
Well, Ace Frehley just passed away here recently. Did you ever meet him at all, or no?
No.
Nothing? Okay. We're just big fans.
Once I knew he was in that band, I was gone.
Well, that's the other thing about the movie, though. Some of it was fiction.
It was fiction.
Intentionally fiction.
Intentionally.
Like the guy who played Jack Tanner, I'm like, that's not Jack. He's an actor. I've seen him in like 50 different things. Like what? The second time around when I watched him, I'm like, that's not the right dude. I'm like, I thought this was like an historical document. He's kind of like making stuff up.
I think it was a mistake to do this fiction because deliberate fiction, because it disqualified it for an Oscar, for one thing.
There you go.
Because once you fictionalize a documentary, it is not a documentary.
That's right.
And it was unnecessary because it didn't add a smidgen of anything more interesting.
Nothing.
And what we were doing was unbelievably interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
You didn't need, the whole world wanted to know about this crazy thing that we were doing. You didn't need to throw in a complete fiction. But anyway, I think it was a big mistake, and alas, who knows who came up with that idea.
We're in agreement on that, just so the record knows it. But so obviously Martin didn't film this when you were on the road. That was with Stefan Van Dorp, right?
Oh, yeah. No, he got all this, vintage footage from Bob and also his tour photographer and his videographer.
So was Stefan always there while you were running around on this tour? Was he ever like always up in your face? Or?
I never noticed. I mean, I was in my own world.
Doing your thing. Yeah. Focus. Yeah. That's really cool. Jackson, you have anything else for these two before we let them go?
I mean, we really appreciate you coming on. I mean, it's a great story. It's a great chapter in not only in the rock and roll, but kind of in America too, when everything was happening. It's a very interesting time. I'm glad that we got to experience this with you guys.
Thank you.
I add that I'm looking forward to playing these songs, but I'm also really looking forward to playing with you, Scarlet. It's going to be really, really fun.
Thank you, guys. And as a PS, we talked about inviting Ramblin' Jack Elliott, who is.
Oh, did you reach out to?
Ramblin' Jack Elliott was on that tour.
Yeah,
and he is, he grew up with Woody Guthrie. I mean, he is the generation that Bob was looking at, and he brought, respected him enough to bring him on Rolling Thunder. And I know he lives in Northern California, and we're going to invite him to the show.
That's awesome. Yeah, I hope he makes it.
I hope he does too.
Wasn't his dad also like some big wig and you never would have known it?
His dad, I think, was also just a straight-laced business guy.
Okay, yeah.
Jewish, attorney or something like that.
Right.
And he went, "No, I am going to be a cowboy."
Yeah.
All right, man. I hope to see you there.
Whew, boy, can I make it out there? I don't even know if I can make it to Cincinnati to
Oh,
see Steve
man,
Hackett
you better
on
find
Saturday.
your tie-dye t-shirt and come.
Unpack that sucker.
That might be a size too small these days. I was in better shape in my banking days than I am in my dad days now. But no, it's all good.
You got to meet with some Pantheon people so you can write it off.
Right. Now you're talking. Yeah.
All right, guys. I look
Thank you
forward
so
to
much.
Thank you,
the
Scarlet.
show happening.
All the best and have fun out there with my man Stu.
Will do.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Thank you, Stu.
everybody.
Hi, this is Steve Kilby from the church, and you're listening to the Ugly American Werewolf in London.
So tell me, Jackson, how many times do we watch Dazed and Confused in college?
Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Between 100 and 200 times, maybe?
Well, it's not, because we talked about that. We reviewed the movie and the soundtrack. And really, that's really what we were doing. I mean, no offense to the movie. The movie's, it's a good movie, but you're really there to listen to the music. And so, yeah, we watched that, 100 times, maybe. I don't know. It just seemed like it was in the rotation. That, like, I don't know what do you watch. I don't know, Dazed and Confused, go.
And the scene when it's like the freshman, the senior, and the guy who's been out for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
We basically see they're all the same generation, but it's 3 different generations, basically, of the same guy. The
Right.
football player
Yeah.
with the car who gets the girls, who goes to the moon tower. McConaughey, London, and Wiggins walking in there, and they slow it down for them. This is the story of the hurricane. They're walking through the Emporium. It's one of Richard Linklater's best moments in film, I think. And that song is powerful. And then you get to know the story behind the song. It's like, well, that's bigger than kids trying to score beer on a Friday night, right? This is a really big deal that the guys blatantly framed.
And I'm glad that they included that in the movie, not only the story, but an actual interview with him, and just kind of it just rounded that out about how Dylan found something in this guy that he really connected with him. Like, this is crap. We need to do something for him. Mm-hmm. And then I like that when he was saying, hey, every time I see him, I say, Bob, you find what you were looking for? Find what you were searching for? What do you mean? You're always searching for something. You found it yet? So he kind of understood his thinking too. And the other thing too was we were too young. And speaking of Dazed and Confused, they do touch on it at the beginning, that bicentennial. That was a big deal. But it was like, you were just coming out of Vietnam, and we're so happy for America.
Oil's expensive, interest rates are up.
Right. Nixon is still hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very interesting time for the younger generation versus the older generation. So like I said, I was too young to remember anything about it other than they had coloring books and special.
Right. Well, that was something that caught me about the film, especially when they went to like the old ladies' mahjong or card place, right? And sometimes you saw them kind of dancing a little bit outside. I'm like, okay, this is 1975, 76. Sure. Yeah, well, right. They're moving, right? People aged a lot quicker and a lot harder back in the day, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, well, look, if this is 1965, it's 1975, and they're in their 60s, maybe some are in their 70s. These women lived through 2 world wars and the Great Depression, and now they're definitely at the end.
Yeah.
They have so little in common with these kids who are in their 20s, now in the 70s, the me generation who just went through the 60s. Like, our parents, we have a generation gap between us, but we do like some of the same things. It's not so far different,
right?
Going to high school in the 60s versus the 80s and 90s, but versus what those old women in that mahjong theater versus like Bob and his band of merry weirdos. Mm-hmm. That's a very, very different.
And that's what it was too. It seemed like he just had this entourage of we were talking about Ginsberg. what's his name, Ratso was hanging around from
Rolling
Rolling Stone, and that there was that one interview that he had, and he's like, he asked him a question, and Dylan was like, Christ, it's too early. What are you? No, I don't have time for that right now. It's too heavy. So just that everybody wanted a piece of him in one way or another. Either they wanted to be him or they wanted an endorsement from him. And then especially then when you really get into the artist versus the promoters, like, this is crap. Why are you playing these little, we're not making any money on this venue, and none of them care. They're like, whatever, we're going to do whatever. And I think he even says it at the end. Was it a success financially? No. But was it a success, artistically? Absolutely.
Yeah. If you measure it in profit, it's not
right.
a success.
Yeah. That's it.
But did we achieve things? Yeah. And look, I think Bob is still searching. I mean, at the end of that picture, they showed all the tour dates he's done since that time. And it's over 3,000. He does not do it for money. He does not need money.
That's his thing, is he has to do this. He has to do this to survive.
He signed up for this a long time ago, but before he even wrote a song.
Right. Yeah. You could just retire and play golf or, fish. No, he's got to be doing this.
That's right. What an honor it was to talk to Scarlet Rivera about her time with Dylan in the Rolling Thunder Revue in 75 and 76, recording the unforgettable Hurricane and Desire album with him. It was a very, very tough time for the United States as a country. And of course, thanks to Stu Allen, my old friend. I'm sorry that I won't be able to see either of them play at this show. I hope somebody takes some video and gets it up on social so I can at least see some of it. It's not the same as being there. But if you are in Northern California or Southern Oregon or Western Nevada or anywhere out there where you can make it to the show, I encourage you to do so. Stu and his band are badass. They know this material well. They've been playing together a long time, and to have Scarlet Rivera come in and put her special violin touches on all these songs, to harken back 50 years to that magic moment, well, God, I would be there if I could. And if you can, I hope you will as well. And we want to know, folks, did we get something right? Did we get something wrong? Did we miss the point? Did we leave out your favorite part? You email us and let us know. It's uglyamericanwerewolf@gmail.com. Let us know the live bands that turned you on growing up, like Dylan did to Stu. Make sure you follow us on socials. Make sure you download and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And if you really want to help us out, hey, go give us a 5-star review. It just means the world to us. It helps us find more rock and rollers like you. And if you send it our way, we might just read it on an episode. Thanks as always to Pantheon Podcast for making us part of the family. And thanks to our sponsor, rarevinyl.com, where you can use the code UGLY to save 10% off one entire order. Very special thanks to my old friend Stu Allen, and thanks to the immortal Scarlet Rivera for coming on the show and talking about that amazing time 50 years ago. And thanks to all you out there for listening. And just make sure you keep going to see live music. It's the only way we're going to keep rock alive.